So I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2020 AGM for the Napanee District Chamber of Commerce. We're glad that you could join us. My name is Ken Shirtliff. For those who don't know me, I'm the president of the board of directors of the Napanee District Chamber of Commerce. Before we get started, I will run through a few technical considerations. So I'd like to have you, if you haven't yet, please begin by typing your full name and organization in the chat function so that we can accurately include you in our AGM minutes. We have a lot of people joining us today on this webinar, so we've muted participant lines to reduce noise disruptions. You can message everyone or individuals. All chat is recorded as well as the full event. So for best viewing of the presentation, go to your view button and hit the standard view. If you experience any issues, you can text Megan at 613-876-4195.
So Ken, you do know that you're being identified as Cheryl, so you're leading a double life.
Yes, I am. And Cheryl mentioned that to me, and she said to go to the three dots on the top of the screen and change the name to me, but I don't know. That sounds bad, doesn't it, from a technology guy, eh? But I'd be honored for you to call me Cheryl.
Just don't call me late for dinner. That's all I ask.
Exactly. Okay, are we ready to go ahead? Okay. Our quorum is 10% of our members. And Lisa, we're showing we have our quorum already. So we have the necessary members present to do the voting for tonight. And again, just to let everybody know that the webinar is, the meeting is being recorded. Okay. It is my pleasure to call our AGM to order. You will see we're using poll questions for voting purposes. Where there is an opportunity to vote on a motion, you'll be asked to vote in favor, oppose, or abstain. Use your keyboard to choose the option you prefer. And this portion for the voting is just for our members in good standing, who have been in good standing for 45 days. To make a motion or second a motion, please use the chat function and type in I move or I second and include your full name. Please note that there's only one vote per organization. Okay. And slide number 4 is our agenda for the evening. We'll give everybody a second just to read that. Okay. I'd like to have a motion to approve the agenda. I need a first and a second. And this is just for members, please, and indicate it in the chat with your full name, please. Okay. Okay, first is Jack, second is Ron. Okay, we're going to have the members vote in the poll in favor, oppose, or abstain. And Lisa will give me the numbers when you're done. Thank you very much. The motion has been passed. Okay, and once again, this is for the members in good standing. And I need to have a motion to approve the 2020 AGM minutes. So I need a first and a second. And please, if you have any questions or comments about them, enter them now. Okay, motion by Tiffany, second by Stephen, second by Jack. So may I have a motion to approve the 2020 agenda minutes? I need a first and a second. And please indicate this in the chat window with your full name. Okay, but first is Stephen. And second, Cindy Kennelly. Thank you. We'll have all members vote in the poll, please. In favor, oppose, or abstain? Please vote now.
Yeah.
Ken, just some clarification.
Yes.
Ken, clarification, please.
Clarification on.
We are still on motion 2 with a poll still being in progress.
We're just waiting for all the members to vote in the poll for it.
But we already have.
For the approval of 2020 minutes, and we already have a first and a seconder.
Yes.
Thank
But-
you.
But it says next that we'll have the members vote in the poll.
Yep, so that's in progress.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion has passed. Thank you. So moving on, the introduction of our annual report. All members will receive a copy of the Napanee District Chamber of Commerce electronic annual report after this, not right after this meeting, but they will receive it probably tomorrow. And it will also be posted on our website. We're thrilled to share the snapshot of what has been quite a year for the Napanee District Chamber of Commerce. So I'm going to go ahead with my report. First, let me thank all our current members for staying on and those who joined us in 2020 during such a turbulent year. It is only because of your faith in this chamber that we are here tonight. What a year it has been. I can honestly say without question, it has been one like I have never seen in my lifetime. The year started with a new board being required earlier than usual. And just as that new board dug in their heels to get to work, we were in the beginning of a pandemic that would reshape our lives and the way we do business, and still is today. I'm here to say the new board took control over an incredibly uncertain situation and went directly to work, making sure our members had all the necessary information as it was made available to us to help navigate completely uncharted waters. We also instigated a COVID committee with our community partners, being the County of Livingston-Addington, the Town of Greater Napanee, the offices of our MP and MPP, the Napanee BIA, Center for Workforce Development, and local municipalities, as well as concerned business owners, to ensure we are all on the same page and kept abreast of any new opportunities for our businesses and community at large. That regular Zoom meeting is still being attended by all parties. We ran a series of surveys with pertinent questions, successfully allowing us to advocate business members' concerns to higher chambers and powers that be. We adapted easily to meetings over Zoom and hybrid meetings, with some in attendance and some over Zoom as restrictions allowed. We hosted a very successful annual award ceremony online where 11 deserving local businesses had over 1,000 views. Through this, your board never once stopped planning for the future of our chamber and how it would engage and re-engage in community efforts, such as business growth and training for employees of our members, along with advocacy. I am truly honored to work with the current members of the board and those who did not continue. We have reinstated the chamber back into the community with an influence that I, as a longstanding member, can say I haven't seen for quite a few years, and will continue to strengthen for the common good of our membership. This being my first year as president, I will say without doubt that our business manager, Megan Sains, is a committed and driven individual whose grasp on her communities and the part she plays is commendable, to say the least. We will continue to support and grow our membership through 2021 and advise on the tasks at hand, which will positively affect the chamber for 2022, such as enlarging our boundary to take in all of LNA County and renaming the chamber in a way that will reflect that new coverage. We will also be amending our bylaws that are outdated. Most were written the year the chamber started 26 years ago. In closing, I want all members and future members to know that we are here to support you any way we can. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Hi, everyone. Megan here. Here is my year in review. For some, reflecting opens the past. It brings back the feelings of the highs and lows and memories that were created. However, reflection is one of the most underused yet powerful tools for success, as noted by Richard Carlson. I love this quote, how influential reflection is. Like every year at our annual general meeting, it is a time-honored tradition to look back on the year past and reflect on our triumphs and tribulations. We all know what 2020 was, but for the chamber, who both celebrated its 25th year in the Lennox and Addington community, we also turned a new leaf at the beginning of 2020 by bringing life back into what seemed like it would be the end of our organization. 2 short weeks later, the world was hit with a global pandemic. The strength of the chamber is not any particular program or community event, but rather the strength that comes from the network we've built. For 25 years, we have been there for the business community. I haven't, but others have. We have been working to serve our member businesses by providing access to cost-saving programs, networking activities, coordinating business development initiatives, advocacy through the provincial and federal level chamber organizations, and hosting community events. For us, this tumultuous year has brought our purpose and the importance of this work into an even sharper focus. I captioned just some of the ways we provided support for our members and the business community as a whole. Some of these are echoing Ken's comments, so I do apologize, but they're very important just the same. Early in the pandemic, the Napanee and District Chamber of Commerce recognized that we had a vital role in helping our business community through our crisis. Our focus was and continues to be providing as many valuable resources as possible to support our region's business community to maintain strong and viable in their operations. As the voice of business in the Lennox and Addington community, the NDCC also recognized our role in providing regional leadership. This was never more important than during these challenging times. The NDCC took the lead to form the COVID Committee, a coalition of business, government, and other community partners and professionals that meet bi-weekly to ensure there are no gaps in our outreach efforts. Our events and programming quickly shifted to providing our valued networking opportunities in a virtual environment. We delivered 9 weeks of educational and informative webinars and virtual meetups that brought the business community together, providing members with the opportunity to share business practices and to assist with professional development in times of need. We also recognized and honored 11 strong businesses and community leaders through our annual Business Achievement Awards, where Tiffany on this call, actually, who's a member of ours, was able to film for us. So thanks, Tiffany. We had over 1,000 views on our YouTube channel, and it's still growing. Furthermore, 2020 saw us focusing on advocacy for our membership as we lobbied hard for federal, provincial, and local relief from this crisis. Along with our governing bodies at the Ontario and Canadian Chamber of Commerce, we continue to meet the needs of our members as they continue to navigate the uncertainty and changes these times have brought to each of us. More than any year, 2020 was a year of adaptation, flexibility, and change. We have seen our members rise and fall, adapt and change, step forward and onward as they face the unprecedented road of COVID-19. We are proud of everyone's efforts as we all navigate the reality and what is to come for the recovery of COVID-19. So reflect and remind yourself of where you were, the highs, the lows, and the memories created. So close, because this forever change will be your most powerful tool for success. And I just wanted to showcase the amazing board who really stepped up. These individuals are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Next, we'd like to bring your direct attention to our 5 poll questions that were sent to you prior to our meeting. This is the way to gain feedback on some of the possible directions we are planning and considering of value to you. I will read each question one at a time, ask you to vote. If you have any questions on this topic, please indicate in the chat and we'll gladly clarify. Question number 1. If the NDCC were to invest in some membership dollars into a shop local digital app that gives users access to discounts and deals for members, would you be interested in having this as a value-added benefit to your business? Question 2. Would your business participate in value-added programs such as Toastmasters for public speaking, improving communications, and helping to build your leadership skills? Number 3, supporting our members is high on our priority list. Would you see value in a business relief fund where 2% of our membership dues would be used to fund and support local members in need? Could be, whether it be flood or fire or something along that lines. Question number 4. Are you aware of our #1 benefit plan for our members, the Chamber Insurance Plan? And number 5. The Chamber will be running 3 CRA webinars in March. Topics include COVID-19 measures, that's on March 4th at 9 a.m. General tax helps for small business on March 9th at 9 a.m. and home expenses for employees, March 18th, 9 a.m. And will you be attending at least one? Okay, if our chat advisors can let me know when that's all been completed, that would be great. Thank you.
All right, so do you want me to go now? Ken, there's no chat at this time. No questions.
Thank you. Okay, Megan, if we can get the financials up on the screen. Oh, sorry, there's our poll results. So 45% for yes, would be interested in the app. And the value added, 59%. And the relief fund, 68. And I'm glad everybody's heard about the benefits plan. That's excellent to know. And 50% is pretty good for turning out to talk to the tax man or listen to them anyway. Thank you very much, everyone, for filling out the polls. We certainly appreciate it. It really helps us to give our members what they really do want. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to Welch LLP, led by Kyle LeMay, for all their assistance throughout 2020 with our books, supporting the business manager and the year-end financial statements ending in December 31st, 2020. Members received the financial report by email in advance of this meeting. And I do really want to say a huge thank you to Kyle and his crew, because you really have no idea how helpful it was with the brand new board coming in and not being aware really of the situations in the past or where we were or where we needed the information to know where we were going. So it was incredibly generous of you to help us through that time and get us to where we are today with a better understanding. So without ado, here is Kyle to review with us the annual report.
Perfect. Thank you, Ken. So if you just want to scroll down to the next page there, Megan, it's the notice to reader. Just basically explaining that we reviewed or looked over the statements of operation and change in net assets. We did not perform an audit or a review engagement. So if you just go down to our statement of financial position, so the most standout point is that cash is at 75,000. The increase is mostly due to the cashing of your short-term investment, so that bumped us up 13 grand, as well as we took advantage of the CEBA loan for 40,000. So that helped to mitigate our cash flow and help to fund us through the hard time that COVID had on everything. Accounts receivable, there's just some lingering fees that are outstanding. I think most of them are collected after year end. Again, just probably some businesses had a little cash flow pinch and couldn't pay at the end of the year, but it's all been caught up. Prepaid just stayed the same. It's just your last month's rent that was paid in advance. So at the end of the day, you had about $80,000 of net assets. And down in our liabilities, our accounts payable and accrued liabilities. Last year, we had a receivable for your source deductions. This year, we actually had a payable of around 4,000. So that's why there's such the big difference, as well as HST payable at the end of the year of about 3,300. Everything else remained fairly comparable. The source deductions should be a little bit lower because we just filled out the 10% wage subsidy today, actually. And I think there's about a $10,000 or $1,000 refund. Sorry, coming back to the chamber in a couple months once they sort through all that. Deferred revenue is at 8,000 compared to 5,600. Some of the members probably didn't want to renew in the middle of the year when things were uncertain with COVID. So most of them kind of waited till the back end of the year to renew the 12-month membership fees. So that's why our deferred revenue is a little bit higher. Our long-term debt, that's the 40,000 SEBA loan, which is to be repaid by December 31st, 2022. You can either pay back the 30 and keep the 10, or we can just make the monthly payments starting in 2023. That'll be a board decision, I believe, as we get going. End of the day, net unrestricted assets of 22,000, roughly. If we go to our next page, it's our statement of operations. As expected, membership income declined mostly because of COVID. A lot of businesses were uncertain what was going to happen with the shutdowns and the lockdowns. So I think some of them probably decided not to renew. So you can see there's about a $20,000 decline in revenue for the year compared to last year. We couldn't hold any of those chamber project or events that generated quite a bit of income. 20,000 last year compared to about 3,500 this year. And then our grants are right around the same. We had a little bit of a grant and subsidy from one of the programs to help fund a summer student. So that helped offset some of our costs. Going down to our expenditures, everything remained fairly comparable. The biggest decline, again, is just the chamber project and events because we couldn't run them during the year. Rent was significantly declined as you moved buildings and went to a smaller space as the bigger space wasn't needed. So our rent expense was a lot lower. And then travel, automotive, there's no cost there because we couldn't really go anywhere during the year. End of the day, had a small little deficit of about 1,400 compared to about a $2,000 profit for the year before. All in all, with that said, with COVID and everything, it was a pretty excellent year that we were able to break even and keep everything going in the right direction. The last page is just basically a breakdown of your assets that you have. So basically everything's been amortized at this point. There's furniture, fixture, which has been fully amortized, as well as a little bit of a computer equipment that has not much value left. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Just a little clarification on the deferred, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's I believe that early in the year, having discussed that, part of that amount is that because we're accrual basis, people sign up with us for the year, that not all the money that they pay in 2020 reflects all 2020, but part of that money has to be carried into the, excuse me, from the following year. Let's say anybody from July on, part of that would be moved over.
Yeah, exactly. So people who are signing up in like August, September, October, we're only going to take a certain amount of that into income because they pay for the full year. But some of that relates to the months in 2021 that they've already prepaid for. So that's why we set it as deferred.
Thank you.
Yep.
So Ken, no questions in the chat?
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, Kyle. That was very much.
Thank you.
Okay, if I could have a motion, please, to approve the 2020 financials, a first and a second, please. And Ron Yeomans is the first, and Tiffany Lloyd the second. Okay, so we'll have all the members vote in the poll on motion 3 for the accepting the financials. And as soon as I have this motion passed, I will let you know. 85% in favor. Thank you very much. The motions has been passed. Now moving on to some exciting news. I'd like to have a motion to approve the new board member, a new board member, and his name is David Melbourne. And him and his wife, Rachel, own Crown Cleaning Services and from Stone Mills, I believe. And I just have a quick bio. Okay. David's a professional leader with 20 years in business management and ownership experience, husband to a wonderful wife and father to 2 amazing boys, currently working as a business consultant and a business owner. And he is joining the board to give back to the community and to help business owners. Now, David and Rachel had reached out to us. Megan had told us quite early into 2020, expressing their desire to help the chamber in any way that they could. And we did have an interview with David, and I think he would be a fantastic addition to our board without question. With the background he has, he could really help the contacts that he has. And he's dealt with different boards before, so he has a good, clear understanding on how the board works. So in any case, so I'd like to have a motion to accept David on the Napanee, the board of the Napanee District Chamber of Commerce. Moved by Jack, and a second. And Brad, moved by, first by Jack, second by Brad. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And you'll see on your screen, the vote for all members, please. In favor. Thank you very much. The motion is carried. Welcome to the board, David. I hope you got your sleeves rolled up because we got lots of great stuff going on.
I just unmute and say thank you. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, everybody.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
Ken, I just want to draw your attention to a question that was posed by Megan Hodgen about repayment of the SEBA loan.
Okay, about repayment of SEBA, okay. And what is the question?
Well, she wondered if there'd be some discussion of that.
Has the board had discussion on it?
Megan, maybe you can unmute and ask your question.
Thank you, and sorry for I didn't know if it was kind of an afterthought after we approved and the budget looks great. And just, yeah, if there has been talk yet from the board of the repayment of SEBA and how that plans to be repaid back, hopefully before the end of 2022, so that we can reap the benefits of the $10,000 forgivable. And then also too, has there been talk of the $20,000 top up discussion for the SEBA loan for 2021?
Are you speaking of the money that the chamber has applied for, Megan, or for yourself personally?
No, the chamber, yes.
Well, it's not really our intention to use it.
Okay.
Okay. As far as repayment and keeping the being allowed to keep the forgivable portion. Unfortunately, I don't think there's been any really clear answer. Kyle could probably answer this. Any real clear answer yet on what's going to qualify the money as being forgivable. It's not clear. It's clear on their site what the money was to be spent on. And unless they changed the rules, the only thing that money could be spent on was any specific invoices for, keeping the lights on and paying employees and so forth, but only during 2020. And the only time anything could be paid in a deferrable position would be if the invoice was received in 2020. So I don't know if the government's plans are to open that up for 2021 as well. I would like to hope so, because there's not a whole lot of point at this point, this far into the year, of having the money in the bank and not being able to use it. Can you shed any light on that, Kyle?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. The government hasn't said anything on what they're essentially calling it as parking the money. So you don't need it, but you take it. They haven't given us any clear guidelines on how they're going to audit it or how it's going to be that you show proof that it was used for an eligible expense. Nothing's really come out right now. I think they just keep deferring it because they have to worry about the CERB and all this other stuff right now. But yeah, it was supposed to be spent in 2020. So the other 20,000, they're not really sure right now. Right now, we have no clear guidelines on what to tell clients or anything.
What you can use the money for, they were very quite clear on their site, but how they plan to have business owners or organizations report that back to them, I'm not really sure. It may be in the sense you may have to supply copies of invoices that you paid with that money to make sure that they qualify as a qualifying expense. So we pretty much just have to wait to see what they come back with. We were hoping through CRA, and one of the questions that Megan asked when she spoke to the representative of CRA, if we could have a discussion surrounding that, and she politely declined.
Okay. No, that's great. Thank you for clarifying. That's good.
Okay. Are there any other questions or concerns?
And we were just wondering about Megan's second question about the top up.
And what was, Megan, could you please tell us the second part again? Megan, what was the second part of your question about the top up?
If the chamber is going to apply for the top up, because you guys only applied for the 40,000, but now it's opened up an additional 20,000 to top you up to 60,000. So is the chamber looking at applying for that additional 20,000 or declining that option?
Yes, we already have, and it has been secured. It's just not on this statement because it wasn't part of 2020. It came to us in 2021.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good questions. And I don't see any more new business here, Ken.
Okay. No more questions. We're all good. Okay. Well, that wraps up the official portion of our AGM. I'd like to thank you all for your attention to the meeting. And if I could have a motion to adjourn the business portion of the meeting, I need a first and a second. Okay, first is Jack, second is Brad. All in favor of adjournment?
believe we need one more vote for quorum.
Caught in a perpetual meeting.
Hi, Ken. It's Adam Brown here.
Hey, Adam.
Do we need a motion to continue with Welch for 2021?
That was already taken care of at the last meeting, Adam. We are continuing
Perfect.
on with them in 2021.
Perfect. Just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
Indeed.
Oh, I can't be there. Oh, there we go.
Okay, motion carried. And I'd like to have all our members vote in the poll, please, in favor, oppose, or abstain. And I guess that's what we just did, wasn't it? Okay, so moving on to the fun part. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. We're thrilled to announce that Rocco Rossi, from the president of the CEO of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, will be joining us at the AGM as our guest speaker. He's a successful entrepreneur, a business executive, a champion fundraiser, and a dedicated public servant. Rocco Rossi joined the Ontario Chamber of Commerce in 2018 as president and CEO. With an extensive background in community building, Mr. Rossi has served as CEO of the Prostate Cancer Canada and the Heart and Stroke Foundation, and he's awarded with the Queen's Jubilee Medal for philanthropic and community service. So without ado, I'll let you go ahead, Rocco, and give us your wisdom.
Well, I don't know about wisdom, but thank you for that. Ken, you read it just as my mother wrote it down for you to read. Let me start first off by acknowledging and really it always blows me away, but Megan's passion and her leadership. You know, my father always taught me that it's really easy being a leader in good times. Any idiot can do that. It's in the tough times that our character is tested and that we earn our titles and we earn our stripes. And I am just so blessed. You know, people say the OCC represents 139 chambers and boards of trade across Ontario. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as I stand on the shoulders of 139 incredibly passionate groups. That's not just the staff, it's the boards and the members who, quite frankly, could be just taking care of their own business and not devoting time, not devoting treasure to an organization like this, and yet you do. And that is incredibly appreciated. And it's never been more appreciated than right now. You had an interesting discussion over the rules around CEBA that are basically being made up on the fly. And you could have that discussion on virtually any of the programs that we've been dealing with, because as we all know, government by design at all levels is designed to move very slowly. It's why you have official oppositions. It's why you have committee meetings. It's why you have royal commissions. You know, the way governments are designed is to try to avoid anyone being able to dictatorially just decide and impose anything on. But with the rise of COVID, we basically got told that playbook just ain't good enough. That what governments at all levels had to be prepared to do was to take their best guess, their best crack at new policy to deal with the crisis, and then be prepared to iterate, be prepared to listen and adapt as you go along, because as the old saying goes, when you're falling from the sky, no one asks for the manufacturer and the cost of the parachute, right? We just want to make sure we've got the parachute because we're trying to save as many people as possible. And the chamber movement has been critical in that iterative process to move policy to make it more adaptable. Just think of one small example, the wage subsidy program. When that was first announced, federal government came out, said, great news, everybody. We've got this program and we're going to do 10% of salaries. And a bunch of us, the chamber movement included and leading the charge, went to Ottawa and basically said, 10% is not going to move the dial. It is not going to save jobs, and you'll have even more layoffs. And so they eventually moved it to 75%. You had movement on qualification, which businesses could actually even apply for CEBA or could apply for the wage subsidy. And then the ultimate one, the rental subsidy program, which initially started in a way that we all argued against, that namely the notion that it be landlord initiated, both to be fair to landlords and to tenants, because quite frankly, many landlords are small businesses, as you all well know, are small businesses themselves. And I had many conversations with members who said, look at Rocco, I have 4 tenants. They've all been with me for 20 to 25 years. 2 of them had over 70% decline. So the rules, the government tells me I can apply for them. 1 of them had a 65% decline. Technically, I'm not allowed to apply for him. And another 50%. I'm not going to apply for any of them because I have to live with all 4 of these people each and every day. And I can't be the one to decide that 2 I'm going to help and 2 I'm not going to help. And so that has to be on the shoulders of the government. And so finally changing that to rental initiated, absolutely a critical function. None of that would have been possible. None of it without the strength that we reflect that's really about you. Because government doesn't take our calls because we're particularly bright or good looking. They take our calls because they know we have 140 communities, and every weekend, every time an MP goes home in the local Tims, in the Rotary Club, at the hockey rink, they're going to meet chamber members who are going to be telling them the same thing. And that means that they have to take us seriously. And you are an enormous part of that, and we've got to keep that going. I've been blown away by the response of communities and business in the whole Buy Local campaign. You talked in your survey about potentially a Buy Local app, and I'm delighted that Adam is here from RBC because it allows me to give a big shout out to our partners at RBC, who, as you'll recall, over the summer helped to launch Canada United, which went from coast to coast to coast, really a celebration of buying local, dining local, celebrating local, and on top of that, raising over $2 million in funds to be put into grant relief, which then got topped up by just recently by the federal government for another $12 million. So we're able to give grants of up to $5,000 to qualifying small businesses under 75 employees from between 150,000 in sales to 3 million in sales, 2019 sales. And there's still some room in that fund. So if you or any businesses you know would qualify, and that is specifically for costs around PPE and specific restructuring for safely opening during COVID. So it can't be, it's not on your rent, it's not on those other things, and it's not for anything that any other government program has provided. It's specifically in those areas. But there is some room there. And we've most recently stood up a council of over 200 businesses, colleges, universities, associations, and even 3 trade unions in an Ontario Vaccination Support Council, which is there to assist all 34 PHUs across the province in accelerating vaccinations once the supply arrives. And just a couple of examples for you of what some of the members are doing. Some of the larger members like Oxford are actually donating premises to PHUs for mass vaccination sites. You have Bruce Power in Grey Bruce counties that actually bought and donated 3 ultra low temperature freezers so that the public health unit can properly store and transport the Pfizer vaccine. And they are also, through project managers that they've provided free of charge to the PHU on a voluntary basis, stood up 3 mass vaccination sites in hockey rinks in the 2 counties. And more to come on that front as we work with the general and the task force and the PHU. So if there's interest from your local public health unit, that's a conversation we want to have and see what help we can get. And this is not through the RFP process. This is strictly what we can get on a volunteer or donation basis, and it's making a real difference. We want this last lockdown to be the last lockdown, right? The second to be the last. But the only way that's going to be, particularly in the face of variants, is for all of us to step up our game, because the second lockdown happened because the measures that we had leading up to the second lockdown weren't doing sufficiently the job that we needed to do to keep the numbers down. And I know in some regions the numbers never exploded in a very big way, but as I talked to local public officers of health and hospitals in some of the more rural regions, what they said was, yes, our cases are low, but our capacity to deal with any outbreak in cases is also extremely low. And so we're going to continue to follow the advice so long as people can be moving inside the province and potentially lead to having virus spread. So that's not just all of the physical distancing, not just all of the PPE that we've been talking about, but if anyone hasn't yet downloaded the COVID Alert app, the free app for tracking and tracing, I really encourage you to download it today, to tell all your friends, to tell your employees, to tell your customers, because I know all of us have been banging pots and pans to say what wonderful heroes our frontline healthcare workers are, but this is something very concrete we can do to support them. And that is to automate tracking and tracing as much as possible. The fact that we are not tracking and tracing every case is what leads to the use of blunt instruments like the lockdown, because otherwise what we really should be doing is very surgical lockdown based on exactly where the cases are and where they are going to. And that data is going to be critical to doing that. We all are in this together. We're going to get to the other end together. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. It is the vaccines. They're still coming far slower than we would like. It is shameful. There's no other word for it. that Canada, G7 country, is 42nd in the world in terms of per capita vaccines in people's arms. And that includes a lot of countries that don't have vaccine manufacturers. So we can't use that as a simple rationale for why we're not where we need to be. We're going to get there. And when that supply comes, we all have a job to do in terms of helping our public health units get it into arms as quickly as possible, because that's going to be key to getting back to some form of normality. And we all know not all businesses will make it, and not all businesses will come back at the same speed, because there's just a lot of rebuilding to be doing. And I am so proud and delighted to be able to be doing some of that with such amazing people like Napanee and District. So thank you very much. I'm happy to take any questions you may have, but again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you do, not just on the board, not just as members, but as entrepreneurs, as contributors to the economy. You guys are the real rock stars, and I salute you.
Is there anybody who has any questions or comments for Rocco?
No question, but comment. Thank you so much. It's a true honor to have you here with us tonight.
Not at all, not a problem at all.
Just want to say thank you very much. It's so different from us. We're such a small area, and I guess through a lot of hard work and some of the blessing of more than 6 feet of space, we are in an area that has primarily been very, very low on the scale. And I have to be honest with you, I believe it's the people. They understood, and they acted, and they followed the health unit's recommendations, not just our local, but what came down from above. And we have continued to do so. We've had a couple little spots, but they come and they're caught very quickly. And I believe, if I'm correct, I haven't looked at the stats a lot lately, but we've only ever had one COVID death in our health unit zone. So that's a very good thing. And it has been really hard, without question, on businesses. And you know, there's so many questions that aren't answered about COVID that I don't really know if anybody has the answers yet. And I don't even know if a year down the road it's going to give you all the answers you need how to treat a pandemic. But I think we've all learned very quickly. And I've always been somewhat of the opinion that certainly a part of this is government's responsibility. But the truth of the matter is, I believe that this is a social issue, and it's all up to the people. And we will make the choices to keep the numbers down or numbers up. And as I understand it from listening to the radio this morning, that one of the areas that is the biggest concern for the spread is workplaces. And when you have a larger workplace, it's hard not to have it spread. Now, they actually honed it down to lunch and break rooms where people might be a little more lackadaisical in the rules, and whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm sure part of it must be for certain, but people do have to work, and it's. I know I've been lucky. I have a small staff, and so we're an essential service. So, but we've made this through, and we still ourselves don't have our door open to the public. We have this absolutely fantastic technology box that my son built inside our door that's got a red button on it that calls all our phone extensions. It's got a webcam. It's got lockable cabinet doors for people to pick up their product, and they seem just to be as comfortable to stay outside as we are to have them there. So we will be opening again next week, just for a couple at a time. But once again, thank you very much. It's nice to have that the vision, when you have so much more information from us because of your coalition with all the other chambers, that it's nice to have that information brought down to us so that we can have a better, clear understanding of the much bigger picture than what we have. So thanks again.
A great pleasure, and thanks to you and Megan for, ensuring that communication has to go both ways. As you say, no one has all of the answers, and so it's critical that every perspective be brought to the table. And the last thing you want is a one-size-fits-all solution in the province, because that's just not the reality. And so it's important. It's important to be able to build in that flexibility by having all of the data that you can get. All the very best, everyone. Stay positive and test negative.
Indeed, you as well. Okay, so moving on, we do have a video we'd like to share with you, and it's the President and CEO of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, Perrin Beatty. Perrin has contributed to the development of our nation as a politician and corporate leader. Elected to Parliament at 22, he served as Minister of 7 major departments, including National Defence and External Affairs. Following his political career, he led the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation and the Canadian Manufacturer and Exporters. Former Chancellor of the University of Ontario Institute of Technology and the current President of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. He continues to advocate for Canadian businesses. Now, this is a large file and it may not come up super clear, but we can always send you the link to download it in our report if you wish to view it at another time. But go ahead, Megan.
Hi, everyone. Lisa and I are in the same room and we can hear the video. We apologize.
If you want to just give a brief outline of what the subject of the video is, Megan, then we can send people the link to go themselves to look.
Yeah, I'm happy to send the link. It only runs until March 3rd. So you will have to see it quickly, but I will, nice back here. So I will send it a link to you all tomorrow morning. Really, Perrin Beatty is just giving a shout out to us and our community, especially the fact that we were one of the regions to open first in the green zone. And then he goes into further detail as to what the Canadian Chamber of Commerce has conquered over 2020. So I will, we apologize for that. It is a 7-minute video, so we will get that to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Megan. So does anybody have any other questions or comments they would like to make about the meeting tonight, or any comments about business as unusual at this time? Okay, not at all. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us tonight for our 26th AGM. And to be sure to keep up to our up-to-date news, check our social media pages and our website. And we certainly look forward to 2021 and the plans that can come to fruition in 2021 and those that will be planned for 2022. And if there's any way that we can help support business, we please want our members to contact us and future members. And we will do everything we possibly can to help answer questions or have advice or direction to any of the services that they may need. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a great evening. And we'll see you in 2022 AGM. Hopefully a lot before that. Take care.
Hey, Megan, can you hear me?
And see you.
Yes, I can, Rebecca.
Can you hear me? I just want to say now it's over unofficially. I've been in a lot of Zoom meetings and I think this was very well done. You guys did an excellent job. There was so much technically going on and I just thought, like, I'm very impressed. And not just with this, but the chamber and the work you guys have done. It's incredible. I'm going to get emotional, Megan. But really good job, you guys. It's great. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting me be part of it.
Thank you. And I'm surprised I got all the way through that. So it was so close to the end.
No, you did great. Thanks, everybody. It was a great meeting. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Okay. And everybody.